answers about bits. So one of the last videos that we did was Jess's 3 favorite bits for getting a horse fully trained. And the first bit in that series was the large twisted snaffle. And the first question that we had about that bit was, what does my horse feel with that bit in their mouth?
So what the horse feels with this from my hand is direct pressure, meaning it goes from my hand through the rein. Whatever I pull, he feels in his mouth. If I pull a little bit too hard, he's going to feel that. If I don't pull hard enough, he'll feel that. If I bounce on it, that's what he feels. There's nothing to buffer that in between you and him. He feels, so when this bit is sitting in their mouth and they're relaxed, you'll see it's just a little mullen, a little bent here. So that is off of his tongue. So that when he is just sitting there, that's off of his tongue, nothing's playing on that tongue. If you don't have the bit against their tongue, they won't play with their tongue. They won't try to flip it up. So that horse will stay more relaxed. The reason I like the bar in this bit to be the same width compared to a big width wide, some people like plastic on them, is I don't want to hold that horse's mouth open excessively so that they don't feel it. They're not concerned about it in their mouth for long periods of time when I'm riding them.
Okay, and then the next question with that one was, when would I use this? And for a lot of people, they're wondering, when would they transition out of this bit?
So I'll use this bit very quickly in their training. I put them on them very, very quickly after I've just started riding them. And a lot of times I'll even ride the first rides in one of these. I use them right through to when the horse will walk, jog, lope, change leads, whatever discipline they're going into. If they're going to go work cows, they get that right up to the point where they're done. Reiners, I want them to change leads, stop, do everything I want to do, because it's the simplest communication is a direct pull from my hands to their mouth. Until they're doing everything, I don't take them out of this bit. The other thing I do is I'll go back to this bit even after them horses are broke, and I go back to them so that if I'm having difficulties, if that horse is just doing some things and he's not understanding why the shank bit is getting into his mouth and what's happening with it, then I'll go back to this bit, get him figured out again, get him confident again, where he says straight pull, I understand it, I bring him back to that, and then I go back up into the shank bits so that it's more refined as we go to show.
Awesome. And then one more question about that bit was, what is up with the copper wrap?
So the copper wrapped, if you can see in there, copper does make a horse salivate more, and I agree with that. The main reason I like this though isn't actually the copper itself. I like the fact that it's not a big twist in there. So I don't have a big bump as it's coming across their jaw and their lips. What I have is a little bit of one and enough that I know that they will come off of it without a big one where it kind of can sometimes rub up the sides of their mouth. And because of that, I can use this all the time. If I'm not roughing up the sides of their mouth, I can use it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on a horse, and they never get sore from it.
Okay, so to recap, this bit, what the horse feels is direct pressure. So as opposed to a bit with a shank on it with a little bit of leverage, where when you pull, the horse actually feels more than the amount that you're pulling. With the snaffle, they're feeling exactly what you pull on the rein is what they're feeling. And then we talked about using this bit to get a horse broke in all of the maneuvers for whatever discipline it's doing. So if it's a pleasure horse, it needs to walk, jog, lope, stop, back up, turn around. If it's a reiner, it needs to be able to walk, not jog, lope, turn, change leads, all the maneuvers before we would transition into a leverage bit. And then the copper wrap is to create a little bit of friction as opposed to a flat mouthpiece and a little bit of salivation.